Vach.
Hi, Harold.
Hi, how you
Good
doing?
book. Good.
Good. Vach, good. Let's see here. So, do we own Greenland yet? I didn't check the news.
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
But Venezuela, we own half.
It's crazy.
Crazy. Yes, crazy.
Uh, how was Shabbos?
Very nice. It was gorgeous weather. It was perfect.
It's beautiful.
We had the Rabbi Goldvicht in Shul. That's Tzvika Reisman's Mechit, and he spoke. Very, very good. Very interesting.
Agree.
Sure, tov, everybody.
Shavua
Shabbat
tov.
Tov.
Hello,
Hello, Mario.
Mario.
Shabbat tov.
Shavua Tov.
Shavua Tov.
Mm. Jorge.
¿Cómo estás?
Bien, bienvenido. ¿Cómo le fue? ¿Bien?
Bien. Mira, voy a ver a la familia y veo también, voy al cementerio. I get to do everything. I get to see
Ah,
my family. I get to go visit the people that are there permanently.
ok.
You know,
¿Tiene mucha familia ahí usted todavía?
todavía tengo tres primos, primas y sus familias, y también
Mm.
tengo a una sobrina.
Oh,
So I have enough family that every so often it's nice to go down and check on them.
está bien.
You know, it's good. Truth is, I've always attached to Guatemala.
Yeah, well,
I liked it there.
I also attached to Uruguay.
Yeah, you know.
But I think I've been already 50 years away. 50 años. Igual, como se dice en español, tira la patria.
Igual yo.
Ujú.
Yo me vine aquí a los 8:30. I was here since 8:30.
Mm.
Good
Good
luck,
luck, Ernie.
everybody.
Shavua tov, everyone.
Shabbat
Shabbat
tov.
tov.
Vach.
Menachos
Bye.
Hey,
5. Tomorrow we'll learn at 8 o'clock, 8 p.m.
Oh,
And tonight the Sefer Esther will be at 8 o'clock. So Mesve, Rob said that an Asham Nazir, an Asham Metzora, that you shechted Shalol Lishma should be puzzled. That's what Rob said. Mesve, Asham Metzora shenichat Shalol Lishma. Here it says Beferush, that an Asham Metzora that is shechted not for its own intent, or Shalonita Midam al Gabi Bahonos. The blood was supposed to be put on the big toe and the thumb of the Metzora. So Hareza Ol Gabi Mizbeach, you can still put it on the Mizbeach. The toe and the Sachim and requires wine libations. However, Tzorech Asham Acher Lachshira. This Asham doesn't work to be Mashur the Metzora, but you see, it's not possible. Tiyuf to the Rav. That clearly knocks Rav out of the box. The Rab Shimon ben Laki Shamar. Minchas ha'omer shekansa shelo lishma kshem. On the 16th day of Nisan, one of the korbanos was the minchas ha'omer, which was from barley, and that was matir, the new grain to be eaten. So if you did the kmitza shelo lishma, it's kosher. You can't eat the mincha. You can't eat the new grain, and the mincha zomer comes from new grain. So you're gonna have to bring a well-performed mincha zomer to be matir of the shiraim to be eaten. So the Gemara says mikra v'echi craving. How could you offer it? There is a din mimashke Yisrael. All korbanos have to be brought from something that is kosher that Klal Yisrael can eat. Min hamuter Yisrael. Now, if the minchas ha'omer cannot be eaten, how can you offer it? Amar Rabbi Rava, Ksavar Reish Lakish, ein mechusras man leba bayom. Since later on you're going to bring an omer, another minchas ha'omer is going to allow you to eat it. So right now it's not permitted because you haven't brought it, but since later on that day you're going to bring it, it doesn't violate the rule of Mashke Yisrael. Maski for Vada Breder of Yisrael. Yesh ba'oifot she'ein b'menachos. Yesh b'menachos she'ein ba'oifot. There are certain dinim by a bird korban that doesn't hold by a mincha, and there's certain rules by a mincha that don't apply to a bird korban. Yesh ba'oifot she'oifos b'on ben adav shnayim. A partnership can donate a bird korban, but a mincha cannot because it says nefesh achas. Number two, mechusrei kapara. Birds are part of the korbanos for those that need to bring korbanos to allow them to eat korbanos, like azav, zava, metzori, yeledes. V'hutru michlal Yisrael b'kodesh. Normally, a regular Yisrael cannot eat a bird that was killed through malika, right? Where the nail of the kohen breaks the neck of the bird. It's a nevela for regular Jews, but there's a heter in Beis Hamikdash. Masha ein kein b'menachos. There is no such rule by menachos. Not of it. You can't bring a mincha by partners. A mincha is not brought by mechusei kapara. There's no heter. There's no prohibition by mincha. On the other hand, yesh b'menachos, there are things that apply to a mincha that don't apply to a bird. Number one, a menachos te'unas kli. Mincha has to be put in a kli shares. A bird does not. A mincha requires tenufa, waving, vehagasha, and bringing close to the mizbeach. V'yeshnan b'tzibur kiviyachid. Just like a yachid can bring a mincha, a tzibur can bring a mincha, like mincha sa'omer is a mincha tzibur. Masha ein kein ba'oifos. Oifos do not require a kli. There's no tnufa, there's no agasha, there's no karbonate tzibur that are brought that include birds. Now, im isa, if the mincha sa'omer, like Reish Lakish said, cannot be eaten, so you have another rule. You have this thing where at some point it's prohibited, but it becomes hutter by the bringing of the second mincha. By new mincha zoimer. So that would fall into that category. However, kivan de'ein mechusras man lebo bayom, since we said it's not even viewed as prohibited, since later on that day you're going to bring a mincha that's going to be matir that flour, it's lav yisur. It's not considered that it's bichlal a dvar isur. Mostly from sheshas. Now, there's a certain order when the mitzora's korbanos are brought. You have to put the blood, there's oil. The blood is put on his thumbs. The oil is put on his thumbs. You have to do zrika towards the Kodesh Kadoshim. It's a whole process. If higdil matan shemen lamatan dab, normally you're supposed to put the blood on the behind before the shemen. Let's say they reverse the order. They put the shemen and then the dab. Okay, says the Baraisa, malenu shemen. You have to get more shemen. You've applied the blood. Now you put the shemen again. Matan b'hoinus l'matan sheva. You're supposed to sprinkle towards the Kodesh Kodoshim 7 times before you put it on the thumb and the big toe. If you reverse that and you put it on the thumb and the big toe before matan sheva, fine. Yimalenu shemen. You fill it up with oil again, and you do it again, the bahoinas, after you sprinkle properly the sheva. If it's not considered prohibited, if later on you can correct it, why do you have to do it again? What he did, and it works. Rav Papa, you can't bring me a kasha from Mitzrayim. Shani Ilchus Mitzrayim Dechsiv Behu Avaya. It says Damar Kos Zos Tiyet Torah Samitzor. It means it has to go to you. Baviyos, it has to be done in the order that the Torah says. If it's not done, it's not good. Masif Rav Papa. So there's also, the Matzorah brings a Chatas and an Osha. Now, Higdim Chatasel, you're supposed to bring the Osham first. If he brings the Chatas first, Lo Ye'achem Emaris Bedama. Now, the Chatas has been shechted. You don't bring another person to stir the blood so it doesn't coagulate until you offer the ashram and apply the blood. Rather, what you do with the chatas to uber tzarasa, you let it stay over till the next morning. It becomes pasul b'noiser, v'teitze lebeis hasreifa, and you burn it. Now, why should you do that? If in the end of the day it's going to be okay, let it be. Why did Rav Papa ask that? Why Rav Papa would Omar? Shani Hilchos Mitzorah Diksiva B'Avaya. You just told me before that Rav Papa says you got to follow the order by Mitzorah because it says Zos Tia Torah Sam Mitzorah. Zos right Tia Havaya has to be done according to the order of the Torah. Ela Rav Papa Achi Kakashli. This is what Rav Papa is asking. Eiman Emili Avoida. Maybe the avoidot like Zrika and Kabbalah, there are avoidos that has to be in order. But Shechita love avoidi. But maybe Shechita can be done by non-kohen. And maybe Shechita doesn't apply to the Tiyah, the Zos Tiyah, the Aviyasiyahi. So, and if it's not considered prohibited since later on it's going to be corrected, which should have been a good advice, let one person stand around and stir the blood so it doesn't coagulate, the karev ashram, and then shech the ashram and offer it, v'haderli karev chatas, and then go through the chatas process. Obviously, even though you're going to correct it, it becomes prohibited. Not like what we said before by the mincha. So we asked the question, how come you can eat the mincha sa'omer? How can you offer the mincha sa'omer? It's not capable to be eaten. We have a pasuk mashke Yisrael. It's got to be kosher. You know what? When the sun goes up on the 16th day, that's what matir is the chadash, not the mincha sa'omer. So once the morning came, the flour was already permitted. even when we had a base of Migdash, Heyer Mizrach Matir, it was the rising of the sun. It's machlokes, whether it's the Omer that offers it or the Heyer Mizrach. But Rish Lakish, Rabbi Yochanan at least say it's Heyer Mizrach. So it was permissible flour. That's why it could be offered. Hada Rish Lakish, that which we say Rish Lakish says that it was Heyer Mizrach when the sun rose, that's actually what was Matir the Chodesh and not the offering. Lav beferish itmar b'chlal itmar. We didn't hear Rish Lakish say it directly. We sort of deduced it from Rish Lakish. This not. Ein mevi'in minchas bikurim minchas be'em according to Omer. The minchas bikurim and mincha that you have to bring along with an animal korban could not be offered until you brought the minchas oim. The mevi posel. If you try to bring these korbanos before the minchas oimer, it's possible. Similarly, on Shavuos, we offer the shtei alechem. Kolam shtei alechem lo yavi. These also should not be bred lechatchila, right? Minchas bikur, minchas be'emot, not before the shtei alechem. But we may be kosher. But if he did, it's kosher. That's only if he tried to bring the minchas oimer earlier. Ava b'shisha shar may be kosher. If on the 16th day of the oimer you brought minchas bikurim or minchas be'emer, would be okay. Why? Al meksaver heyer mizrach matir. It's not the offering of the oimer that's matir the chodesh. It's heyer mizrach that does it. Now, Rava Amar, minchas ha'oimer shekansa shelo lishmok shein. If the kohen did kmitza on the minchas ha'oimer not for l'shem mincha, it's okay. V'shirei necholim. You can eat the flour. You don't have to bring another minchas oimer to eat it. Shein machshava moeles el b'misha roy lavoida. A posel dika machshava only invalidates korbanos somebody who's fit to do that avoida. The davar aroy lavoida. And with material that is fit to be brought. Now, how do we understand? For example, if Balmum brought it, it wouldn't work because he's not roy. Normally, we don't bring menachos from barley, so it would be normally not fit because it's brought from something that's normally. Because normally the menachos are brought from wheat. So, for example, if the mizbech was damaged, you wouldn't bring the minchas oimer either. And therefore, having the wrong kavana when you offer the minchas oimer doesn't affect it because really it comes the whole inyan of bringing a barley minchas achidus, and therefore it's not damaged. Torah Rabbah. Kishu oimer mina bakar lemata she'ein tamud omer el hoitzis atreif. When it says Adam ki akriv mikem korban lashem mina beima mina bakar, it's to exclude a treif animal from bringing a corpse, being brought as a corpse. Now, why do I need a pasuk? V'haloi dinu, it's a kavachon. Umaba mum shumiteres lehedyot. We regular Jews are allowed to eat an animal that's a balmum, as long as it's a mum that doesn't cause it to be treifa. So an animal that's a balmum can be eaten by a non-kohen. But it's asur legavoya, you can't offer an animal balmum as a korban. Treifa shasur lehedyot. We cannot eat a treifa. Ein din shasur legavoya. It certainly would be invalidated as a korban. So why do I need a pasuk? Lahotzis a treifa. So the Gemara says I need a pasuk because chaylev v'dam yochiv. Shasruin lehedyo chaylev. We may not eat chaylev and dam. Yet mutar legavoy. You can put chaylev and dam on a mizbeach. So that would cause us to reject the kavachomer from Bambo. So we need the pus. But malach chelev dam sheken boin michlal heter. Chelev and dam come from an animal that of the other parts of the animal you can eat. Right? The rest of the animal is kosher. Toimer betrefa shekulasu. But an animal that's treifa, the whole animal is treifa. Velote muteres legavoya. So then from the kavachomer alone, we would have been able to learn that a treifa is not fit for a korban. And I don't need a prosa. Okay. I can, though, hak on the kavachomer another way. Malika toichia. Killing the bird through malika. Kula isser vasur lehedyot. The whole bird cannot be eaten by a non-kohen. Yet umeteres legavoya. Yet it's permitted legavoya. So a treifa might have been the same thing. So I need a pasul. So the Gemara says no. Malam lika shnei kedushasta oisarta. You're doing the malik in the Beis Hamikdash. It's the Torah tells you to do it that way. Mashenkin betreifa shenk kedushasta oisarta. The treifa, the animal's treifa, was something that was done through a permitted act. V'im heishavta, and you're going to tell me, you still have a problem with the kavachomer. We don't need minabokar, so we have it to say that I can't use a treif. Now, ma'im heishavta. What kind of kasha are you going to have? The Gemara just came through by rejecting malika and treifa that the kavachomer is a good kavachomer. Amarav. Shum deikla meimer mincha so'imer toichim. Shastru lehedyot u'muters legavoya. The mincha so'imer, the flour, you can't eat the flour because it has not been offered as a korban yet. Yet you can put it on the korban. So the treif is the same thing. I can't eat it yet, so maybe I would think you could put it on the mizbeach. Ma lemincha so'imer sheken materes chodosh. The mincha so'imer is matir, the new grain. So I can't learn anything from that to treifa. There's a special mitzvah. Because it's matir, the new grain, I'm told I can do it by the Torah. Freit Gemara b'shvi. I b'shvius. During Shemitah, the mincha so'imer doesn't matter anything, because you're not allowed to eat, plant or harvest new grain. We still bring the mincha so'imer, even though it's something prohibited. So you can't give me the answer that's a special din that it's matir chadash. Well, shvius nami shekain mater sfichin. There's a din in Shemitah that, for example, things that grow on their own, you didn't plant it, so the oimer allows you to eat that. So the Gemara says, "B'shvius Rabbi Kiva damer sfichin asurim b'shvius." We resuscitate the fact that the kavachomer is a good kavachomer. We need a pasuk to exclude treifa, because we hold like Rabbi Kiva by shvius, because he holds sfichin are prohibited during Shemitah. We can ask our kashi and Rabbi Kiva. Mincha sa'oimer, as I do with shvius, because it allows you to eat the new grain in chutz la'aretz. And even according to the opinion that says chodesh is not b'doraisa chutz la'aretz, shekain bo lahatir lav shebesoicha. But the offering of the minchas oimer comes to be matter the flour by itself. Ravina, What do you mean? Maybe treifa could be offered, and offering, just like Minchas Oimer, allows you to eat it. Offering the treif animal would allow you to eat it. There's a mitzvah by a Minchas Oimer to eat it, but there's no mitzvah to eat a treifa. Now, so we had a kal v'chomer with treifa to say that you need a pasuk el abokar to say that you can't use a treifa as an animal. We said a balmum can be eaten by a non-kohen, yet you can't use it as a korban. Treifa that we cannot eat, certainly it should be also as a korban. I don't need a pasuk. So Rish Lakish Shomer mishum de ikla meimar mefate maktoris yechid. We are not allowed to compound the ktoiris. We're not allowed to take the 11 ingredients and put together make ktoiris. It's a lot. Sha'asur lahad yod mutar legavoa. We can't do it, but it's permitted if you're offering it to Hashem. More says, Mafatim Gavruhu. What do you mean Hashem is going to make the Ktoiris? Elapitu Maktoris Yechich. That means compounding. We're not allowed to do it for a person who's not a Kohen, but yet we do it for the Beis HaMikdash. The more says, Mali Pita Maktoris Shekain Mitzvah Subakach, but it's a mitzvah to do that. So you can't learn anything from Treifa, from Ktoiris, because this is the way to do the Ktoiris. The Torah gives us a mitzvah to do it. Another way to hack on the kol v'cham. Mishum de ikla meimer Shabbos toichia. Shasur lahed yod muter sagavoa. We are not allowed to do malach on Shabbos, but you're allowed to do certain malachos in the Beis HaMikdash. You're allowed to shecht the olas hatamid on Shabbos. Ma'ala Shabbos shekein hutra michlala etzel hed yod b'mila. But a non-kohen can, if the 8th day of the child, when he has to be mauled, falls on Shabbos, you're allowed to do it. But otumila tzarech edyutu, it's not a rishus, it's mila mitzvah. Okay, elamala Shabbos came mitzvah bekach. And the same thing, there's a mitzvah to shecht the oilas. So that's how another way we're stuck with the kal v'chomer, and we need the pasuk to say that the treif is also. Hybrid. You're not allowed to. This is a kloim, shotness. Asur le'edyet, we're not allowed to work kloim, but umutarm legavoa. Some of the big day kahunas made out of kloim. So maybe a treifa too is okay as a korban, even though privately I can't eat a treifa. But we non-kohanim, we can wear tzitzis made out of klein. But again, that's not my personal need. Mitzvah. It's a mitzvah to put on tzitzis. You can't bring a proof from Klein because there's a mitzvah to do it. And the Gemara will continue with more kashas on that kal v'chomer. Okay, we'll see everybody at 8 o'clock for Sefer Esther.